The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Speaking podcast coming to you Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. It is once again this week's Studio Game Report with the man, Kyle effing Nash. Kyle, it is Super Bowl week.
Yes.
And
yes, it is.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't feel any hype right now. At least personally.
I feel like you've started, and by the way, this isn't me cracking on you.
Yeah.
I feel like you've started basically every Super Bowl week episode with that, and I think that's connected to one very simple thing. That bye week is a crusher. I mean, it killed friggin' the college football playoff. It killed other events of its same ilk, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
If you want me to be surprised, it's not gonna happen.
Right. No. And I'm someone I used to love the 2-week gap in between, the NCAA title weekend and then the Super Bowl. But I don't know. I see the need for it. Obviously, you want to spread it out and squeeze in any of money you can for all the stuff in between, all the festivities in between the game. But I guess as I got older, it's a little different. Like obviously, if we get to Friday and Saturday, I'll probably feel a little more excited by it.
There's that too.
I also the Eagles are in it, so who cares for me on a personal level? The Chiefs are obviously.
The Chiefs are in it. Why are you all griping?
No, right. But people are bored by that. And I also think
people are bored by that because they're stupid and they.
And that I agree with them for the record. No, there's a lot of negativity around the game because the Chiefs are in it again. Oh my God, it's like the Pats all over again. And whatever.
Okay, no, hold on. That's not on the NFL or on the Chiefs.
Oh, I'm not putting on the NFL on the Chiefs. I'm putting on the fans.
Adam Schefter comes out on tweets leading into Conference Championship Sunday talking shit on the refs and the officials. This is how commonplace it's gotten, and the media's gotten involved. And listen, I don't know how anybody feels about Nick Wright. Personally, I kind of like him.
I love him.
But he's not a journalist.
No.
He's an analyst. And that's okay. By the way, I'm not one of these, if I say you're not a journalist, that doesn't mean I'm hating on you.
Right.
Unless I'm saying it to EJ Christian, of course. I'm joking, buddy. But Adam Schefter is a dyed-in-the-wool sports journalist. What the hell are you doing? The level of irresponsible I see. By the way, maybe my personal situation has a little bit to do with it, but to see somebody at that high a level on that big a stage do something that irresponsible really sets me off. So
yeah, he's playing both ends too. Also, the journalism and analyst also. Yeah. Dangerous game, in my opinion, to be playing that, especially got Adam Schefter's ilk.
I'll put it this way: that's not even a game. That's just unprofessional, right? This is up there with what was it? Troy Aikman being all like, "Oh, we need to be very serious about these gambling things because there's money on that." That is somebody deciding to do that. You go in there knowing the risk. Adam Schefter is supposed to be trusted.
Yeah. So say the news as is and keep moving. No spin. He does not do that.
Listen, if you want to do opinions, keep going on Pat McAfee's show and do it when you're talking. That's cool.
Again,
don't be out here and as a breaking news source talking that ish.
But I think it's safe to say though he's no longer just that anymore either. Because I think even some of the guys on the NBA side who do the same thing he does also analyzed as well too. The Brian Windhorst of the world,
But that's
Sam
different.
Sirianni.
Let me tell you why that's different.
Go ahead.
And you're making a good point. But
yeah,
the NBA is a sport, as a business in desperation, losing viewerships, et cetera, has to do those kind of things, right? We won't even talk about some of the rules changes and stuff they're hinting at. Like you could have a special pinch hitter or something they're talking about in baseball. They're so desperate to get ratings up. NFL is king. Yeah. All you need to do, you are handed the platform to do good business. All you have to do is do good business. All you have to do is be the town crier for the king.
Mm-hmm.
And you've done fucked up the rotation.
Yeah. No, you won't get anything from me here on that one.
By the way, this isn't me saying I dislike Adam Schefter, but like I dislike whether it's Adam Schefter doing that, whether it's Gary Washburn years ago being the sole vote as a member of the Boston media preventing LeBron Ramon James from becoming the unanimous MVP that year. I forget which year it was.
2013.
Thank you. He was still a member of the Miami Heat. I know that.
Yeah, he was. Carmelo Anthony got the only other vote that year.
Which
ridiculous. I saw the argument was stupid as shit though.
It wasn't a legitimate argument. For one, he said it was head to head. They didn't ever play each other in the regular season. One or the other missed the games. God, we're
I think so. I believe so.
No, I know so.
Okay.
Trust me. You're talking about, going through your archives for a potential secret project with Earnestly speaking. Ooh, I'm teasing. But I remember I had to debate that with one Nick Ficcarelli back in the day. There's an old name for you. And by the way, I absolutely murdered him in the debate, as I always do when he attempts to debate me.
Well, that's not saying much because
I'm not saying it's a big accomplishment. Yeah. I'm just adding on the fact that was one such thing we mentioned, and I brought the point that the two never actually faced each other in the regular season.
Interesting. All right, Super Bowl 59's here. We'll try to get excited about it.
Here's, and I'll add this too about it not being exciting. Like I won't. I've been to the Super Bowl twice, right? Now I'm 2 years removed for those back-to-back years that I went. Most recently, Phoenix, of course, right?
Right.
It doesn't feel like it's the Super Bowl until about Monday night, Tuesday afternoon. Otherwise, I'm just a dude traveling somewhere. But then when you get through all the minutia, when you like checking into credential and to get your credentials is like no different than being like, if you travel somewhere for an event or a conference, it's like, that's great. Oh, look, it's an NFL logo. That's cute. I'll even remember I did a guest spot with my friend Mark Moses of the Mark Moses Show on AM 1560 The Fan in Melbourne. And he's like, dude, who'd you see yet? I haven't seen anybody yet. And it was the back half of the week where I started seeing Sean Alexander, Takeo Spikes, and just all the other, sports celebrities. Ran into, I think that's the year I ran into Ed Ogeron. No, that was L.A. Ran into Andrew Siciliano in L.A. Things like that. If he had just called me up to do that interview 2 days later, suddenly it's Super Bowl AF up in this humpy bumpy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Anna Aiken, anyway, I digress. The punchline is this, my good friend. Let the week actually get down the line a little bit. By Thursday, it'll be go time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, surely tonight, while you're doing the Huddle Up podcast, you're going to feel a little bit more like it, or you're going to hear a bunch. It's interesting. You're either going to listen to Jim and Mike whine like little bitches. Oh, it's the Eagles and the Chiefs again. And I hate the Chiefs because I think the refs side with them. Or it's going to be, oh my God, the Eagles. One of the two.
And none are good.
none are good.
And both of them are not a positive because they're going to hear, I'm in the middle because I hate the Eagles.
That's where exactly you belong, sir. Anyways.
Yeah. I sound like a true moderate, right? Anyway. But having said that, I'm bringing politics in this podcast, but having said all that,
yeah, sure, Dan.
Yeah. What? So this is obviously Mahomes' fifth appearance in this game.
Yes.
In 7 years as a starting quarterback. He's won it 3 times, obviously. Possibly going out like that. Possibly going for being the first team in the Super Bowl era to go to three-peat. What is that? To me, and I tell his legacies on the line because to me, you have one end, the legacy of stamping a legacy of Mahomes and Andy Reid. You have possibility of, on the other side of Saquon Barkley, starting to create one now, not just considering how things been in New York.
It's so great we don't have a Giants fan
going
on
to
this
Philadelphia.
panel. That would be
right,
agonizing.
Exactly. Going to Philadelphia and then rush 2,000 yards and possibly winning a Super Bowl just a full year after getting. Let's call it what it is. He got jolted by the Giants because he wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
If let's go to the side of Mahomes first and Andy Reid, they win this game on Sunday. What are we saying Monday morning about the legacies?
Andy Reid is officially, and you can't knock him out of the GOAT conversation for coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick LeVon Mahomes II is in the conversation for most talented QB ever. Travis Michael Kelce, depending on how involved he gets, might start then on top of everything else facing the greatest tight end conversation. Now, whether you think any of them belong there is another question, but those conversations are going to happen. Also, if things go the way that Kyle Nash, the student of the games, have been saying, it will be yet another year where I lament a defensive tackle not getting a Super Bowl MVP when he deserves it, much like Aaron Charles Donald.
You mean Mr. Chris Jones?
Of course.
All right.
You mean the actual MVP of the Chiefs? Yes, him.
Yeah. We both agree with that.
I know. So Absolutely. Too did Mike the Baron Bernier.
Of where?
By the way, yeah, Mike the Baron Bernier of, Student of the Game NFL Awards.
That's right. Thanks. So having said that, because look, I think those things you're saying is already a thing now. Like,
right, they are, but I like the way Nick Wright put it. It's locked in. You have to have that conversation. When you go to the barbershop, you have to talk MJ and LeBron. And now we go to barbershop and you're like, man, enough of this MJ and LeBron conversation. Then you now have to entertain Brady versus Mahomes, Belichick versus
Reid.
And here's the thing about it. It'll be interesting, that conversation, depending on what Belichick does if he actually stays on as the coach for the North Carolina Tar Heels, which, by the way, I will be covering in October for the Black and Gold Banneret.
So I said last year, after this game, at this time last year, a couple days after the game, that no matter how you slice it, what order you put it in, that your top 3 quarterbacks of all time was Mahomes, Brady, and Montana. You figure out the order yourselves. I don't care, but it lots 3. A win here for me, I won't say ends it, but it sure as hell makes a realistic situation where, like, we're looking at Mahomes as a GOAT, like clear-cut GOAT. Now, I don't think you'll need 7 to get there. Now, would 5 suffice? Probably would 4 suffice? 4 with a 3-peat in this era of football? That's saying a lot. That's a big deal.
The rules haven't been changed for Patrick LeVon Mahomes II. If you're mad, by the way, if you're mad at Patrick LeVon Mahomes II bending the rules, blame Tom Brady, because he's how we got here.
Yeah, the rules that Brady benefited of, especially in the latter half of his career, is the same exact rules Mahomes playing under currently.
Say it a little louder for the people in the back. And what does it the kids say? Keep that same energy, right?
That's right. And don't play it around like because you like one guy and don't like the other. No, call it what it is. The rules have been changed because the rules Brady benefited of his last 3 rings, or 4 rings rather, under those same rules that Mahomes is currently now playing under now. So you can't use this whole. If you want to use the first 3 as a conversation, so be it. But the argument I have there is that Brady wasn't the guy those first 3.
Not even close.
No. Now, we can 07 on, we can have that discussion, but...
Also, Patrick LeVon Mahomes II did not have a 10-year gap of mediocrity.
Well, that's a little harsh.
10-year gap.
No. That's a little harsh, Kyle. I mean,
mediocrity is strong, obviously.
It's very strong.
Okay, let me reel it back in before you do something stupid here and put words in my mouth.
No,
there were years where he wasn't the MVP. Rob Gronkowski was. We've had that conversation on your show,
of course we have,
in your archive.
On this show, right? Yeah, on this show. No, no. What part of the reason why I give Brady so much credit though is that the reason I and this is why you and I always fight about this.
And I hate this conversation too, because I'm in no way am I saying that Thomas Edward, Patrick Bieber Brady is a bad quarterback.
No, of course not.
Or even he is great. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer and one of the best to do the quarterback position. So don't tell me you take him as a better footballer than Jerry Rice. Stop it.
No. That's a different conversation. We're talking about as a quarterback, it's not a football player. It's not even top 10 football players all the time. I agree with that on that one. Or Lawrence Taylor for that matter.
I knew you were going to bring him up. And that's really good for a Cowboys fan that you go there.
Oh, there we go. Bitch.
Go Heat, bitch.
No. Part of the reason why I praise Brady so much in the Patriots dynasty is because in those 10 years, they didn't fall off.
They were in the playoffs and they were regularly.
They were always in the AFC title game or right there. It wasn't like they were like they fell off. The worst year they had in that 10-year gap was a 10-6 year,
which was under Sam Castle.
No.
Oh no, he got 11 wins. That's right.
Yeah, 10-6 was the year that Westwell got hurt.
Yeah,
on the last game of the season, and they lost the Baltimore in the wild card round. That was 2010.
After they won off of that BS with Lee Evans dropping the ball and the kicker sinking that, and
that's 2 years after. That was 2 years after. Oh, a year after.
Oh, that came later.
Yeah,
see, all these. I lose track of all the breaks.
My point is the Pats are always in the conversation. They never fall off. A lot of teams fall off for a couple of years.
By the way, how many rules has the NFL changed to favor Patrick LeVon Mahomes II?
Don't get started on the tuck rule, because that was a fumble. But
I wasn't even talking about the tuck rule.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying though, the tuck rule definitely is number one of all. But that being said, I've been saying it for a long time now. Mahomes doesn't need 7 to pass Brady. I think 4 could be good enough, but I'd say 5 will probably be even more legitimate. So,
some goofballs out there will make the longevity argument and make that their deciding factor. Good for you, right? Brady starts out in a world where you could have one workhorse running back that only runs the football. The Rudy Johnsons, the Sean Alexanders, the Curtis Martins, the Larry Johnsons. Well, that's not fair. Larry Johnson was pretty good out of the backfield too, much like Brees Holmes. But the guys that you could just put the ball in their belly and expect them to run and win you the game, you can't do that anymore.
No. So I think if Monday morning we come off of a actual 3-peat for the first time in the Super Bowl era, for the record, Super Bowl era, not all time. We've seen before prior to the Super Bowl being a thing, guys. To the record.
Yeah, we're not counting national championships with the Packers. The Browns were even relevant with Otto Graham. If you're really rolling back the clock,
Right. But it would be obviously I think the conversation will be goat, like you say, for both him and Andy Reid for the Packers. Andy Reid, what he's done prior to Kansas City was already a top
Here's the thing. We are crapping on Bill Walsh way too much, by the way, for one reason and one reason alone. Not you, but like your boy. Our boy, let's be real. But your boy, Rich Eisen.
Whoa. Really?
Said that he would put Don Shula ahead of Bill Walsh.
The only argument.
No, there's not.
No, hear me out.
Go ahead.
Because I'm not saying I agree with him. I don't agree with him for the record.
The only defense is he has more wins. Yeah, but
there's two. The wins the one, and the other one is also the longevity factor.
Okay, sure.
So Bill Walsh has a career similar to John Madden in a sense where they didn't coach that long. So Bill Walsh coached 9 years,
and he revolutionized the whole fucking game in that short time.
Brother, Walsh might rush for anyway. I don't agree at all.
I know.
I'm just saying
though. But this is why I hate the argument.
Right.
I don't, right? Well, what is it we hear most about Dan Marino, EJ Christian?
No defense.
Best quarterback to do what?
To throw the ball?
Quarterback to not do what?
Not win a Super Bowl.
And whose watch did he do that under?
Don Shula.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, Walsh might rush more. Because of what you just said, revolutionizing the game. And in those 8-9 years he coached the Niners, he was, other than his first year, which obviously that was pre-Montana, I believe, was dominant. So you can't knock them on that one. but yeah, Andy Reid has longevity. Andy Reid has impact
Andy
on
Reid
football
did
as
it
a whole.
twice, and he did it both with great talent. He's the only guy I know. Here's some basketball reference for you there.
Go ahead.
See if you can keep up. He's the only guy I know that envelops Phil Jackson and Larry Miller.
Ooh.
For those who don't know, Phil Jackson, obviously the coach twice of two great rosters in LA with the Lakers. Having to manage Shaq and Kobe had to have been its own nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, trying to manage Dennis Rodman. Holy snap. And from the more we're finding out about how freaking crazy Scottie Pippen is, only enhances Phil Jackson as the Zen master. What we did not know as kids about how crazy Scottie Pippen was. Holy shit, EJ Christian. Did you have a clue? Of course you did.
We had a clue that he had some issues because
but not like this, buddy.
Some of his comments he's making is like, well, but it's also he's also trying to sell a book too, also. So
hey, listen. Having to sell a book means you wrote some crazy shit. That's my point.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas Larry Miller, ironically involving Philadelphia again, I might add, is the guy famous for two things. A, mentioning Philadelphia, getting Iverson and that crew to the finals and beating a Lakers team that they had no business even competing with.
Yeah.
And getting that Pistons group with Wallace and Billups and those guys a championship. That, to me, doing those two things is greater than anything Phil Jackson did. Meanwhile, Andy Reid has not only had to manage Travis Michael Kelce, which is the closest thing I can think of at that level, at a Super Bowl performing level, immediately. Granted, there may be somebody older you think of later, and I get it. Like, I don't know. Maybe Cam Newton, but Cam Newton wasn't a troublemaker per se.
Yeah.
Travis Michael Kelce, granted, less so in his older years, but this is the dude that's throwing flags at officials and shit. This is a guy who had to put Jason Matthew Kelce on the phone and say, hey, is your brother going to fuck this up? Right?
Yeah.
Travis Michael Kelce is the Rodman. Oh, wow. You're fucking welcome for this gold I'm giving you. Travis Michael Kelce is the Dennis Rodman of the Chiefs.
Although he not as crazy though.
Sure. I'm not saying he is Rodman, but if you're going to put together a big three of this Chiefs scenario, what are your three players? It's
Mahomes.
Tougher for the second guy, but Mahomes is clearly your Jordan, right? Travis Michael Kelce is clearly your Rodman.
You want to give Chris Jones Pippen? So be it.
You know,
minus the attitude, of course.
Bizarro Pippen. How about that?
Chris Jones is a stand-up guy, though, so they'll be different.
Fucking Bizarro Pippen.
Yeah.
Maybe Creed Humphrey. I don't know. I interviewed
Tyreek Hill.
once.
Tyreek Hill would have been a Pippen in it for the first ring, but
but he wasn't a constant throughout it. But yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
And by the way, Tyreek still feels less crazy than Scottie Pippen, but I digress.
Yeah, Tyreek is this. Tyreek. But
he's the cheetah. It's a whole thing. And he's got a bit of a checkered past in his own right, but I digress.
Yeah, we're getting that one. Trust me, there's enough trails on that one. So we'll see on that one. Also on the Philly side, I wanted to discuss. I just want to discuss Nick Sirianni because
here's what we figured out, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
As an executive, he does the job. Where is it that Nick Sirianni has always the Eagles have always been good?
What part of the ball, you mean?
Position group, part of the field, whatever you want to call it.
Well,
the hint is it's kind of on both sides.
Yeah. Receiver from one, definitely. His defense has been solid for the most part.
The trenches.
Oh yeah.
And I asked Nick Sirianni personally in
2 years
Phoenix how he built this team up. Inside out. Inside out.
Good move, by the way. Made me cry.
Oh, inside. Oh, man, bro. Don't even bring that up right now.
You cry too, huh?
Bro, I won't even say the part because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But you and I both know what part.
Spoil it, brother. But that movie is like 5-6 years old now.
Right.
Part 2 now.
But new parents. Listen, okay, here's the thing about, this is, man, you're going all over the
I love the sideboard. I'm the king of sideboards. I told you.
I get it, Dan. For those who are wondering why I'm calling him Dan, EJ Christian is Dan Le Batard.
But better cheekbones though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You're far more handsome than he is.
Yeah, thank you. You heard that, Dan?
He's got better dental work than you, but that's a separate conversation.
Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. Come on.
Listen, we both know the only reason you keep that gap in your teeth is so you can remind people that you're a Giants fan. Fucking period. Got him.
Right. You asshole.
Bro, that's you say it like it's hate.
No,
like you got to lean into that shit like Strahan. You remember when Strahan first joined the Fox team and part of the promo was they did like a digital roller coaster and the roller coaster went into a tunnel that was shaped like Strahan
gap,
and then the roller coaster went into the fucking tooth gap.
Yep, that's awesome.
If you have a problem with me mentioning the tooth gap, God damn it, your marketing is wrong.
I have no problem with it. I still got my beautiful wife at home, so and she loves it. So,
well, I won't ask why. That's for after the show. I hope.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But I feel like Nick Sirianni though. And I get it. Like from the day he got the job, he was made fun of because he was stuttering in his press conference. Remember the open presser? He got made fun of. He
was tight. Yeah.
It
bothered me less, but yeah, he was tight.
The national media went over.
Especially when it's opposite. I'm going to bite kneecaps off. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and all he's done since then is go to the playoffs his first year, go to the Super Bowl second year. Now last year obviously was a little bit of a bad year because they started the year off 10-2 and fell apart in the end. He's already on the hot seat because of that.
And also, by the way, after losing great coordinators, that's the part we need to stress.
And he recovered from that so far.
That's a part. Colin Cowherd brought this point up, and I think it's something that I'm going to have to use a lot, especially in a world where Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen and Aaron Glenn all took head coaching jobs.
Yeah.
Some guys need to be given time to learn on the fucking job.
Right.
I have nothing to add to that.
Okay. I know you want to rant there. It's like, I don't think Nick Sirianni gets enough credit for what he's done this year. Remember, this team was 2-2. We were having a conversation on this podcast, on the Huddle Up podcast.
I'll even tell you another. I had a conversation on the Student of the Game podcast with Sean, the evil twin.
Yeah.
Huddle Up Inc. Sean Patrick. I asked him why the Eagles, like throughout the year, they just didn't feel like a championship team to me. Sure.
Yeah.
Saquon's amazing. I don't think there's a question. If he wins the MVP, he won't. But if he wins the MVP, I won't be mad, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the fact that they were injured, they were wrecked at receiver early in the year. And they performed well enough for us to forget about it. And that helped get Dallas Goddard.
Yeah.
I was Liz Dexick, sorry.
Liz Dexick.
But then the fact that they continued to get better, and then when they came across the Commanders, they beat them, limited. Then they were without Hurts, they lost. And we saw what happened when both teams were at full strength.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just also, here's the other thing we're forgetting about. That defense was so young last year and going into this year. And the way they've matured over the past, let's call it over this past season, is remarkable. You know what it reminds me of? Having a bunch of young defensive players go in, make an impact, get turnovers in games. Reminds me of the Chiefs defense that beat the Eagles the first time.
So having said all that, and I don't know if you want to make a prediction, I don't care, you could do so. How do you feel this game?
Man, listen. Patrick Mahomes II decides everything.
Right.
There is no universe where this game isn't close. Okay. Coming out, both teams will be tight to see.
You think so?
What's that?
You think it will be tight? Really?
Yeah, it's a fucking Super Bowl. Hello.
I mean, but we've both been there recently. I mean, the Chiefs are back to back, and the
so
Eagles
what? It's still the fucking Super Bowl.
I get all that. But I don't know. I guess the pressure of what can and can be. I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Well,
so.
and if you're Jalen Hurts, you still have in your head, I made the mistake that ripped a Super Bowl trophy from the Eagles, right? That fumble recovery from him getting all confused in the backfield as a young player. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, he had the best game he ever played in that Super Bowl. 300 yards, just looked absolutely meticulous, throwing the ball about to different people, running when he had to, playing like a madman.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes II isn't going to be what's tight. The players around him will be. And if you throw a perfect ball, the dude still might drop it being tight.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, even a DeAndre Hopkins, who is a veteran player, but this is his chance to achieve shit he wasn't ever going to anywhere else in the AFC South. That's the kind of shit that makes a man tight.
All right. So having said that, you picking?
I got the Eagles.
I'm there too. I'm looking at this game straight up.
If I'm an idiot for picking against Patrick Mahomes II and the Chiefs, they deserve me to be called an idiot if they beat that roster. Because damn it, they're complete.
Yeah.
The only place the Eagles might be less than perfect is what?
Quarterback.
Exactly. Huh?
Quarterback.
Bullshit.
Oh, really?
Jalen Hurts. We're just 3 years removed from Jalen Hurts being a fucking MVP candidate.
True.
What the fuck are we talking about?
But that says a lot to how good they are. That their weakest link might be the quarterback, who's really good still.
I don't know that that's even true, but I'm inclined to think the guard position, but you could say quarterback. And you know what? If so, this is why you're in the fucking Super Bowl, right?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, there is definitely concern with the guard position, especially if Chris Jones.
I wonder if certain parts of the defense are imperfect. Like I would pick the DBs out before I pick the quarterback. Nothing against Darius Slay, but there's a lot of youth there and a lot of injury history. Darius Slay is still a great player. I don't know that he is what he was a few years back.
Well, for the record, like me saying the Eagles are going to win this game is more. It's not a prediction as yet because I can still change this by tomorrow night's Egypt's Degenerate recording because that'll be my official because we're going to do the actual best bet in that game.
Why does Towley get that level of respect? That kind of hurts.
Because he's the man. That's why.
No disrespect to my dude Towley.
Zachary. I know that again. And I mean, look, Zachary.
If I would be high to diss him.
Right.
See what I did there?
I know. If I had to retire if I had to retire jerseys on this podcast, he'd be the first one to retire because he was the first.
He started it all. I get it.
Started it all, man.
So just like every Star Trek: The Next Generation nerd knows who Tasha Yar is. I get it.
Yeah. Now, if I had to do like a Mount Rushmore of like guests on the show, I mean, you're definitely there. So,
duh.
Yeah, I mean, you and G definitely 1 and 2. I mean,
of course.
You know, but
G is definitely 2, not for the reason you're thinking.
No, he'll say 1 though, but you'll remind
you. The heartthrob, the egomaniac himself would say number 1. The guy who thinks Jay Cutler's a great quarterback. I'm shocked.
If I can ever get him on a podcast again, man, I'll make my life.
Well, the problem, I mean, we're holding it just about 2 hours before his bedtime here at 3 p.m. So we're good.
That's true. I give him credit though. I text him, he replies. When we text him, he replies. So I'll give him that. So
I mean, you might be bugging him at Denny's for the early bird special, but
oh well. I don't care. Oh well. All right, a couple of news and notes here. Myles Garrett requested a trade yesterday. Not surprised, Kyle. I called this.
If you believe Adam Schefter, even the Browns are somewhat unsurprised about it. They were aware of it as a possibility, right?
Yeah,
it's like if you're dating somebody and you're not using protection, like a pregnancy happening isn't a surprise. Like you didn't necessarily expect it, but you're also not shocked it happened. How's that for an analogy?
Yeah,
so, but there is, and I discussed this with my good friend, the local stat boy, Drew Glukov, UCF expert and Browns Homer.
Homer
of Last Word on Sports and Locked on UCF. It's not unrealistic that he's doing this just for leverage, by the way, which to Myles Garrett's point, he's coming up on 2 unguaranteed years. As a guy who many are alleging, I wouldn't say this, but I'm not saying he's bad, who would allege he's the best defensive player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that, but boy, he's in the convo, right? And you have this dude who is 29, this close to over the proverbial NFL hill, which is age 30.
Mm-hmm.
And you're with the Browns, whose future, I can't think of a future that looks more bleak immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's in the league with the Giants and the Jets are in it.
I mean, and that's the league with the Jets in it, correct?
Yeah.
So he's either leveraging for more cash and a better contract for an extension, or to actually leave Cleveland. Now, Cleveland's digging in and saying, we have no intention on trading him, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll put
it's also lying season. The draft is coming, people. Let me remind everybody of that.
And I do think also, too, with the – and maybe I'm be a little over the top here, but do you think that Deshaun Watson contract, even though they did restructure, and now see where they're at now as a franchise, that maybe entertain the thought of this as a rebuilding tool? Because obviously you take a ask like Garrett, Garrett goes to a contender, and they're immediately propped up to be a team that could win it all next year, depending on what team he goes to.
We've seen the Bears and the Raiders do it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like what
with
team,
Khalil Mack, by the way, for the record.
Right. What team, on top of your head, do you think he'll fit in, a contender team you'll fit in that can use him?
So he's only going to go to a contender, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Not that he has a trade clause, but if I'm looking to acquire one Myles Garrett, I would want to make sure he wants to be at my franchise. And I also know I'm going to have to pay him. Think what the Jets failed to do with Hassan Reddick.
Correct.
Just off the bat, you have to think that the Red Tails, the Chargers, the Vikings, I don't know, like the Chiefs are in the conversation, right? Like if Kelsey retires, for example, there's a big number off the books. Would that be enough? I don't know.
So you got him and Garrett. Fuck, you got Chris Jones and Myles Garrett. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So Myles Garrett and Chris Jones and that line. Oh my God.
Well, and you're assuming Chris Jones stays around. I don't. The contract flux would be interesting.
Let me see Chris Jones' number real quick. But continue.
Just some other places off the top he could go. Like, I doubt he would hate going to Houston. Where DeMeco Ryans, a linebacker, is currently coaching. Can you imagine Myles Garrett getting coached by Dan Campbell and his staff? Holy shitball.
Chris Jones is a chief for a while. He's a chief for another 3 years. Yeah,
right. But how old is he again?
He's 31 right now.
Yeah.
He has 3 more years on his contract. Yeah, he'd be fine. He may restructure the back in that contract though. But yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Also, I would also. Like I said, I'm not saying it's impossible. I am saying there would be some. Not to mention, you're gonna have to pay Karlaftis pretty soon. There's a lot of guys who you're gonna have to pay pretty soon. The Chiefs are gonna make some makeovers on defense.
I'll tell you what. Next week when we do our final post-mortem for the Chiefs and the Eagles, we're gonna have a conversation about the Chiefs' future, whether they win or lose this game.
Oh, people are gonna like my answer,
because you said you teased it a couple weeks ago, like you said that whether they win or lose this game, they may take a little bit of a dip. Because it's harder to sustain this, and then number 2, to keep players.
Yeah, they may only make the playoffs like the Chiefs used to do for however long, right?
Yeah.
But Tom Brady did it for 10 years, right?
Yep. But how long that'll be, we'll see.
I don't think. By the way, I don't think Mahomes is going to play 20 years, man. I don't think he needs it that bad.
I don't think he wants to. I don't think he's. I don't think. So when we meant that, and it's not an insult to Mahomes at all.
No.
I don't think Mahomes is obsessed with football in the same way
Correct.
Brady is.
Tom Brady is nuts.
It's diabolically nuts.
In a good way.
Right.
All right. OCD is what that looks like.
Right. I think
I'm not mad at him for it.
Right.
But the various silliness and being a dude that I know for a fact I could beat the fuck up in your combine video in your underwear Olympics.
Right.
You build that resolve. Okay, you know what? Perhaps I should revive the Sports Fans Guide to Nerd Culture. Tom Brady has another entry I just thought of.
Ooh. Mahomes feels like when you look at Mahomes and you see him grow as a person, I feel like he doesn't need football in the same way Brady did. Like he's okay with
Correct.
his whole life. Yeah, and I think there's a great balance there that I get from Mahomes and I don't get from Brady. But that's
because you know what's cool about Mahomes? He actually did commercials with his coach. Belichick wasn't doing fucking commercials with Brady back then.
No. More loosey goosey in case he was in New England. That's for damn sure. Cooper Cupp is on the market apparently. The Rams are looking to trade him.
This is not a surprise to me.
Shouldn't be surprised at all. Cooper Cupp, still in the contract another 2 years apparently, but he's not too happy about this. He released a statement yesterday, tweeted basically saying that he wants to stay in LA, but he's looking for it is what it is.
Kevin Durant. Cooper Cupp is Kevin Durant. He's a great player who's dramatically injury prone.
Yeah.
And the 1 year he stayed healthy. Now, granted, Cooper Cupp actually got his Super Bowl and stole the MVP. But Durant never got his he got his ring eventually in Golden State. But I feel like Cooper Cupp is that injury-prone dude that everybody would totally make use of as long as he's healthy.
The thing with Cooper Cupp, go ahead.
If you're looking for, if a team is looking for another weapon, like I could see, if it weren't in division, I could see Cooper Cupp, for example, ending up with a 49ers squad.
Yeah. He's at a good number, though. The problem is his age. He's 32 now.
He's 32 and he's injury prone, correct?
Yeah, he's going to get 12.5 next year and then 14.8 is following year on the contract.
Adam, like this is Adam Thielen territory. It's very scary.
Without question. And he wants to try to catch what he could now. He probably was not an extension, but you can't pay a guy who gets hurt as often as he does. But the number is actually pretty decent, though. It's not a bad number.
I would wonder if the Bengals try to make some sort of a move to acquire him to fill the T. Higgins gap.
Assuming T. Higgins does get moved.
He will. T. Higgins' number is too stupid.
Yeah. He's getting $25 million plus.
Forget it.
Yeah.
So you're just telling me, hey, for half that, you can have Cooper Cupp.
With Jamar Chase.
No, not Jamar Chase. I mean,
no, I'm saying with Jamar Chase, though.
With Jamar Chase on the other side, correct.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I'm pretty sure if Mikey Burns heard this pod, he would start touching himself. Shouts to our favorite Bengals fan, by the way.
Of course, assuming that he stays healthy. I mean, that's the big key here for him because
it's the same assumption we got to make for Joey Burr, right?
That's right. All right. Last week we heard right before we recorded this podcast, we got word. Rooney, Pat Rooney, not Pat Rooney, I think it's Art Rooney actually, announced last week
the
Steelers unlikely to bring back both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields as court next year.
I'm sorry, I thought you had actual news.
Yeah. The fact they put it out there and said that, I mean, first off, you got to trust in two guys. Who you bringing back?
I mean, no. Can that be my answer? No, honestly, the correct answer is Russell Carrington Wilson.
I agree with that.
Because so long as Pickens was in the lineup, they were doing something, right? God, if we had a Giants fan on this panel, this would be better. But think Eli Manning and OBJ when they were together, right? I know Eli was in the back part of his career and was seen as washed, but when OBJ was on the field, he could still do a few things.
Yep.
Right? So.
Yeah, I'm Russ too also. Here's the thing to it with the Steelers, though. Like, Russ is probably the best option anyway. You know why? Because I don't think it required much money to keep him for a year or two.
Certainly not.
The market is dry. The biggest name on the market probably is going to be Sam Darnold. And I'm sure the Steelers don't want to pay that guy $40 million a year.
You know, if they were inclined to include Russell Carrington Wilson in a deal to move up to get a quarterback in the draft, I'm not even mad at that. Now, granted, I don't know who the hell you get in this draft because you're not going to get Cam Ward or George Sanders without shipping a butt ton of assets.
And the Giants ain't moving. I know that for a fact. They are staying at 3.
Yeah, they need a quarterback too bad. And Rusty in New York, like, I know that Sierra would love it. But, I mean, like, what I'm thinking in my head is, like, their first-round pick, Minkah Fitzpatrick and Russell Carrington Wilson to move up to the third spot there. That's not going to work.
No, it's not going to work at all. And they're not bad enough to get a quarterback, obviously, in the draft. A good one in the draft. Let's see move up, like you said.
I mean, unless they're flirting with getting like a Will Howard or getting somebody who's an obvious, like a a
project. But even so, you still want Russ to be there to.
But that kid from Ole Miss is who I'm thinking of.
Right, that's Dart. Yeah,
I know it's Dart. Jackson Dart. I always
yeah,
forget his first
but
name.
even then, and I agree with his record. Even then, you still want to have Russ in the building, someone like him in the building.
But if you're going to have somebody teach, it's not Rusty, who's known for being excluded from the pack. So who's teaching the quarterback?
Right. Fair point. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously. Finally, before we get you out of here, you want to share your thoughts on the big blockbuster trading NBA? Luka Doncic traded.
Which one's that?
There's a few phrases weekend that's happened though.
I don't think anybody cares about De'Aaron Fox, although him playing.
People do care because him going to San Antonio.
Which, by the way, they're going to be in Orlando on Saturday. I don't know that they're both going to suit up by then.
Hopefully they are. But what was okay? We'll talk about that real quick. What that trade signifies to me is the Spurs are now fast tracking Wemby now. They don't want to waste any years. Let's go.
Well, no, they're not. It's not that they're fast tracking him. I would. That's a very negative spin on that. Here's what they're saying: Wemby's ready, y'all.
What's I'm saying? Because the idea was when he came to the league, okay, well, he's number one pick, in the draft, this and that.
But listen, I saw him last year. He was not. He looked like Manute Bol that can move better. That's about it. May he rest in peace, Manute.
Yeah, of course. But I think I think the plan was to take their time with this one. Take your time, Wemby.
Sure.
No, he's ready to go. Don't waste years with this one.
It's 2 seasons, and they got Chris Paul.
Yeah, they don't waste years in this one. So the team even this year's overachieving it now.
Are they overachieving, or is Wemby doing Wemby shit? What is it?
The team, they're actually in the play-in race right now.
I understand that. Is that overachievement, or is it Wemby doing Wemby shit?
Both.
Okay.
Yes. The answer is yes.
What you did there.
Yeah.
About fucking time you learned how to do it. Go Heat, bitch.
That being said, Luka Doncic, let me tell you what I was doing.
First of all, lightly sprinkle in and tease your emergency reaction here.
Right. Thank you for saying that, because I had my dad and my brother came on podcast the very next morning.
Yes, I know, Levitt. Come on, you had Poppy right?
They want to react. They want to react to the whole thing. That's fine. We can do that in the morning. I had just finished watching the Royal Rumble. I was on a high about that, preparing notes to do a show discussing the Royal Rumble, among other things, as a full solo podcast.
Wait, you do a wrestling podcast?
No, I don't. I talk wrestling on this podcast, but yeah.
Oh.
I have a wrestling retro podcast. You know that. But
do what?
I'm in bed, about to go to sleep, and I'm playing some stuff on my phone. Also, I get an alert. Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers. I'm like, huh? I'm like, no. This
even LeBron, quote tweeted this shit fake or something like that.
It says Shams on the bottom. Like, Shams said this, and so obviously you and I, we've been doing this shit so long now. We know how to double check, triple check shit, make sure it's correct.
Wait for confirmation.
I thought Shams got hacked, so I go online.
You weren't the only one, by the way.
I checked Shams' his Twitter. He said the same thing too. I checked another. I think I checked Mark Stein. He confirmed as well too. I'm like, oh, snap! This is both in shock value and in terms of assets and where these players are at right now currently.
And then I laughed.
The biggest trade in the history of the NBA. It is not close either.
Sure.
It is. It is. No, it is. Think about it.
Well, it depends. First of all, define that. What do you mean by the biggest trade?
Number one, shock value for starters. No one saw this coming. Number one, there was no build up to this. Like Jimmy Butler.
That part I agree with. The build up was great. Or lack
Number
thereof,
two, we have never seen a players, Anthony Davis included, both relatively in the prime. One just entering his prime. Another one still in his prime currently. AD still top 10 player in the league, possibly top 5 when healthy.
The closest one. And I was thinking about this. The closest one might be Charles Barkley and Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, but he requested a trade.
No. I mean, as far as talent.
Yeah. I agree. Because Barkley was a top 5 player in the league at that point. Agreed. Luka is looked as a top 2 player. Not just in the league, but in the world in general.
Top 2?
Yes, absolutely. Entering the year, the order, everybody had the order as Jokic, Luka, and Giannis. That's 3. Yep. Leave the NBA to me, buddy. Okay.
So, first of all, cool your jets for just a minute.
And only that, had he won the finals last year, he might have got number 1, to be honest with you.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I wouldn't have done it, but I'm just saying, though. I'm still a Jokic guy.
I think I would put SGA ahead of him right now.
If you want to say this season, I'm okay with that because he's been hurt for 2 months.
Well, the trade was made this season, like yesterday. So yeah, that's what the fuck I'm counting.
No. What I'm saying though,
if Embiid could stay healthy for longer than 30 seconds, I would put Embiid ahead of Luka.
At this point, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Embiid can't stay healthy
If
his life.
If I think in another year, Wembanyama will pass him.
Wembanyama might be the best player in basketball in the next 2 years. So,
but beyond that, those pickings are slim. I think it was Chris Broussard that put it best. This will be the first time in the life of LeBron Ramon James. I'm looking for any excuse to say that motherfucker's middle name, by the way.
Go ahead.
Ramon is great. Anyways, This may be the first time in the life of LeBron Ramon James that he has a teammate who is better than him, clearly. Wade was not better than LeBron.
No. Hell no.
Anthony Edwards was never better than LeBron.
Anthony Davis.
All right, I said Edwards. Yeah, Davis. It's confusing because Anthony Edwards is an actual thing now.
It's funny. Some may argue the last 2 years he was better than LeBron.
Sure. And who stayed on the court more often?
That's the rub.
I said what I said.
Right, that's the rub.
And I think Chris Broussard is A, correct in that assessment, and B, the closest thing that I could think of as far as the talent matching the talent in a trade, an NBA version of Clinton Portis and Aqib Talib, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this trade. And I heard Charles Barkley say it first. This is you're getting an all NBA guy for an all NBA guy. And I think too many people are glossing over that in this trade analysis, right?
Why do you say that?
Well, for one, why do I say that? First of all, for one, everybody's pissed at Dallas, right? Oh, stupid. It's so stupid. It's stupid. Stupid. I will grant. It does feel like there's two things it feels like, and you can tell me what you think.
Yeah.
It feels like they probably could have gotten more if they really wanted to.
Without question.
But what exactly else would you get? Unless maybe you could throw Austin Reeves in? Maybe.
You're getting draft picks, probably is what they wanted.
Draft picks mean dick in the NBA to me. Maybe I'm the problem there.
Well,
but
they do mean dick now, but because of the new CBA and they have more value now.
They have more value because they can artificially make a trade work to match value. That is it. As far as actually winning, they mean dick, which if you're with the Dallas Mavericks, that's what you're trying to do. It's win now with this move, right?
It's faceless players. Yeah, the draft picks are faceless players. I agree. And I already said on the show on Sunday.
No, they're not faceless. It's not even faceless players, dude. It is a tool used to pull off a trade that the rules would previously prevent. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you know, I don't know if you heard the episode on Sunday, but you know how I feel. In the short term, this benefits Dallas.
And that's what I'm getting to. They're obviously trying to make a run with what they got right now. Yeah. And listen, by the way, for all of us who are crapping on Dallas, I'm more in the Charles Barkley, I forget who else said it. Oh, Lebitard camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your boy Lebitard, right?
That's right.
There's something Houston, check that. Dallas knows that we don't. I can't rule that out. However,
agreed.
In the very same breath, even though they've gotten this team to the finals and done some moves that were not how stupid was Dallas to roll the dice on Kyrie Irving? Well, that shit worked, didn't it? By the way, as somebody who was really worried about Kyrie Irving, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
But
mm-hmm.
The basketball acumen of this group is questioned. Okay. Just the same way that Shad Khan's football acumen was questioned. A guy that don't know ball making decisions with numbers first is problematic. Trent Baalke is that guy. So what the rest of the NBA public that is freaking out is saying is that the ownership don't know ball. I would be curious if I could pull Mark Cuban aside and ask him what he thought of this. I would be curious his answer. I'll say that.
Yeah.
The second thing is this. Here's what the other thing I'm feeling.
Go ahead.
This looks more to me like Ty Law or Richard Seymour. traded early by the Patriots, knowing they could get value, but seeing something that they don't want to be tied long term. If you have a guy who is injury prone, who's known for being less than healthy, and has no passion for fixing that, you're getting somebody, and people are saying Joel Embiid. I'm not going to go quite that far, but you are looking at the ilk of Kevin Durant. And I don't know that Kevin Durant at this point in his career can be the main man and win a championship. Kyrie's 32. Anthony Edwards is what, 31 himself?
Anthony Davis.
I keep doing that shit.
I do it too, also. Don't feel bad.
But AD, let's just say AD, fuck all of it, right?
Yeah.
AD and Kyrie are a good mix, and they have enough bigs to where he can play the four. That's already been established. But I feel like the upside, if anybody's looking for reasoning, it's two things. A, they either see elements of James Harden or Kevin Durant or both in the future, right? Because James Harden's notorious for showing up fat to camp, and then, how involved or with it he is questioned. I'm not saying I see that. I'm telling you the Mavericks with this move have told me they see that. And I have no way to tell whether they're wrong enough. Moreover, if you have a way you can hamstring the Lakers, if you're making a run, EJ Christian, in the Western Conference, a good way to help yourself is to put a chemistry issue that completely makes one of your rivals devoid of defense to where they basically have to score upwards of 120, 110, 130 a night to win. It's not a bad way to do it. For example, like where the Bucks fucked up is trading Drew Holiday to the Knicks to make them better than they were in that conference. What the Mavs have done is put themselves in a position to where they could get past the Lakers if you believe them to be a playoff team as currently constructed with AD. I guess they'd make the playoffs maybe, but there's some short term there also, and there's an element of petty here. If you don't want to do business with the dude and he don't want to do business with you, maybe Luka didn't know about the trade, but you better be damn sure he knew about some bullshit in the eyes of one or the other. I couldn't tell you who the actual transgressor was. That's a separate conversation.
Well, obviously, hearing the tea leaves come out the last couple of days since the trade, like little snippets of things have happened. Obviously, there was some dissension for about a year now about Luka's conditioning and about all that. I think Luka probably came to a head and was like, you know what, you don't want me. If you're questioning an extension, just trade me. And I think they want to keep it under wraps. This is between.
By the way, we've seen history where Luka could be petty.
Oh, without question.
Sure.
So, like, Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, Rob Pelinka, GM of the Lakers, both really good friends, knew about this. Any ownership groups don't know about this. That was it. And
can we stop giving Rob Pelinka credit? You know what this motherfucker did to make this trade happen? Oh, look, now I'm qualified to be an NBA GM. I know how to pick up a foul. You like Feisty Kyle talking NBA, don't you?
That's pretty good. Not bad. You're doing good. No,
and just one last thing. I also feel like, too, with this being recorded on a Tuesday, another shoe could still drop. I would not be surprised, and I don't know what it would look like. I don't know with whom it would be, but they may move Austin Rivers to get a big man. What's that?
Reeves.
What'd I say?
Rivers.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Austin Reeves. I said Reeves earlier, too. What the fuck?
There is a Rivers, though. He's no longer in the NBA anymore, though.
Anyways, Austin Reeves. There's a really good chance. I feel like they're going to move Austin Reeves, and I've talked to the guy. I like him, to get a big that they say they're missing. Now, they have no depth at that point, you feel like. No, you got some other cute players, but nobody that excites me.
This move in the short term made them worse. In the short term.
Yeah.
Because, number one, you're not getting Luka back till probably earliest next week. And even then,
which, by the way, the 25th of the month, the Lakers
I also question Luka and LeBron working together. Number one, number two,
the ball centric thing, right?
Yeah. Although LeBron keeps saying he wants to go off the ball, saying it's one thing, doing is a whole nother.
Correct.
And number three, I'm not convinced LeBron James will be there more than a year.
The amount of love these guys have shown each other in various places makes that plausible. A, B. Real superstars adjust. We've seen LeBron, Ramon, James do it. Most famously, we've seen Michael Jeffrey Jordan do it.
Yeah.
I think LeBron, because he has seen Dwayne Wade's example, I believe LeBron can do it. I think there's a greater chance LeBron adjusts than Luka adjusts. Because all I'm hearing about is, when he had LeBron, Anthony Davis got a better body and he's got healthier. And he was so motivated with LeBron James and it was LeBron. I believe it's more likely LeBron adjusts than Luka does under LeBron's tutelage.
Yeah.
Now, if that happens, then maybe the Lakers will be dangerous next year.
Right. Depending on what moves they make right now in the short term.
Even still, remember, we're still, ironically, talking about the Mavericks. We're still shitting all over the Heat for losing that series. Right?
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm more intrigued now by Dallas right now than I am by LA. Like, we'll see Luka for the next 10 years in LA in purple and gold. I'm intrigued with Dallas right now.
The NBA needs their next star. And they need somebody with that star power in a big market. You can argue they have Brunson.
Yeah.
But I think Luka in LA is also yes, I'm not saying the NBA got involved, but I am saying this trade was good for the league.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for all the talk about ratings being low and interest is being
great point.
This week, if you want a chance in the NBA to really save this season in terms of interest, this weekend did that.
Bro, you got this in here in highlights during a Super Bowl week.
Yeah,
huge.
And not only the Luka trade, but also the De'Aaron Fox trade too. Also, because it benefits Wemby too. Also, your next star.
Well, see, that's the thing. Problem with Wemby is in the mid market, and unless Greg Popovich has taken some sort of a
that has hurt them in the past though. That has hurt in the past though when it comes to Spurs and winning titles.
Well, sure. I mean, listen, that's a separate podcast.
Right.
But the fact that the fact that the Spurs were what they were and were still considered boring while winning championships. The NBA had I'm not saying it was bad. What I'm saying is there was a shit ton of missed opportunity in some of those years.
Of course.
Fuck them. I loved watching it.
Me too. Exactly. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, Kyle.
Basketball!
Hell yeah, baby. Plug away, buddy.
Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings with the Fans First Sports Network, doing things covering the Orlando Magic and the Jacksonville Jaguars. My dude, Travis D. Holmes with the Duval Dive, helping me with that a lot. Check out, by the way, get a hold of your life. Be updated by Jaguar stuff by subscribing to the Duval Dive YouTube channel.
Right.
And then, of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret covering UCF. The Big 12 schedule was dropped. UCF's, of course, among that. We get the reaction show on the Night Shift Live podcast on the Black and Gold Banneret YouTube channel. And, of course, head to blackandgoldbanneret.com to get all updates on football, basketball, and everything else UCF sports, blackandgoldbanneret.com. Shouts to my team there as well. So, EJ Christian, what a fun one. But until next time, everyone, class dismissed.